We're live here at SEC Media Days on Radio Row, now joined by Alyssa Lane, SEC Network, ESPN. Alyssa, second week of the season, Arkansas plays South Carolina, your alma mater, and I know a lot of Arkansas fans are really excited about the home opener against Cincinnati, but that is not an easy matchup with Shane Beamer and company when they come into Fayetteville week 2.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for me because any Arkansas fan who knows me knows that I've sort of adopted Arkansas as one of my favorite teams to cover throughout my time here. So that team playing against my alma mater is going to be tough for me. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to cover that one and I can just watch it as a fan, but it's going to be a great matchup. You know, two teams, Arkansas a little bit ahead of South Carolina at this point when it comes to that rebuild, if you will. But South Carolina is one of those teams that has pieces to figure out, right? You bring in Spencer Rattler, and that was one of the biggest pieces of news of the offseason and biggest get for Shane Beamer, certainly. But I still think there are question marks. I think Arkansas is still a little bit better situated as long as they are on their game, right? You can't have a down day in the SEC and expect to get out scot-free. So I still would give Arkansas the edge a little bit, I think, in that matchup. I'm very curious to see what Rattler looks like with this offense week 1, and that might sway me a little bit, but I'm a huge KJ Jefferson fan. I think he's nowhere near getting enough love nationally from national college football media, so I expect big things from Arkansas this season.
You had an opportunity to guest host Feinbaum this past Friday, and you were telling me before we came on that Arkansas fans really flocked to you because you were so confident in KJ Jefferson's abilities. And we've had people on that have him besides the second best quarterback in the SEC. Alyssa, you get a chance to watch a lot of college football, particularly in this league. Where would you rank him in the Southeastern Conference right now, quarterback-wise?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because obviously there's so much talent at that position, right? There's a lot of high expectations, like I said, for Spencer Rattler. You obviously have Will Levis, who's been climbing up draft boards left and right. Bryce Young, your reigning Heisman Trophy winner. It's hard to compete. I definitely have him top 5 among the list with those guys. You know, I think it's interesting. You look at some of the numbers from last season. There were only 2 quarterbacks who had a higher QBR than KJ Jefferson in conference play by the end of the year. And it was the quarterback who won the SEC championship and the Heisman, and then a quarterback who eventually went on to win a national championship in Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett. So KJ, I think, in Arkansas is certainly not getting overlooked. In the SEC, I don't think is getting overlooked. But that's why I wonder why nationally I haven't seen him on more of these lists. You just look at him. I mean, the build, he's athletic, he's fast. The fact that he led the team in rushing last season and Arkansas led the SEC in rushing production, I think tells you all you need to know. So KJ's up there. I think he has an opportunity to almost be Joe Burrow-esque from a couple of seasons ago as far as making a statement here at Media Days and then proving it on the field throughout the season and having the rest of the country really talk about him. So I hope he does because I think he's a great kid.
The moment that changed college football is when that UCF defender was standing over Joe Burrow, and then everything just changed after that. So you get an opportunity to go to a lot of cool places, and I told myself once I started working in this industry, I want to visit every SEC place. Went to Athens last year, watched Arkansas get clobbered. Great city, great time, great food. Going to Auburn this year. You got a chance to go, and what are some of the unique SEC experiences that you've gotten to partake in, either in college or post-grad in the SEC Network and ESPN?
They're all so different, right? And it's crazy. I actually still, with the SEC Network, have not made it to every single venue in the SEC. I'm still waiting on my trip to Baton Rouge and I think Athens. Both places I have been to, but just not with the SEC Network. So it's always hard to pick a favorite or pick the best or whatever it is. I think the best thing about being within the SEC is there's no shortage of great food. So whether you're going to Auburn or you're going to Athens or Fayetteville, wherever it is, there's always enough great Southern cooking type spots to get a great meal in. And the traditions too. You mentioned going to Auburn. I've only gotten to go once. I think it was about 3 years ago. And just watching the eagle fly across the field pregame is one of the richest and coolest traditions I think we have in college sports. But you get that everywhere across the SEC, right? So it's truly a bucket list conference, and everywhere you go, you're going to get chills from whatever they're doing in that stadium.
So you mentioned kind of adopting Arkansas as a fan base. Have you gotten a chance to experience Fayetteville, and if you have, what was that like?
Yeah, so I say that I feel like I've adopted them because I was there 4 games during Chad Morris's last season I covered.
Yikes.
Yeah, so it got to the point where I think it was the 3rd week, maybe even in a row, that I was sitting there in the lobby of the Graduate Hotel getting ready to leave and head over to the stadium, and a group of Arkansas fans came over to me and they were like, what did you do? Like, why do you keep getting sent to us? Like, we're not good. And I was like, well, you know, obviously it's it's not exactly great football at this point, but being here and being in this environment and being in this fan base, it was still always very fun. Now, Arkansas is too good. I don't get their games anymore. So, I don't get to go back now that they're winning. But, maybe one day that'll change. I just truly feel like I got to experience that fan base still being there and turning out when this team was at the very bottom. And now watching them get to watch this team do a 180 and be regarded as potentially a team that could mess up the SEC West this year. Is beating Texas, is beating Texas A&M. It's a really cool thing to get to watch fans experience, is a turnaround of their team. And I've loved being there and cheering them on along the way.
Really appreciate your time, Alyssa. Alyssa Lane, SEC Network, ESPN, 46 hours of network coverage. Get some shut-eye this week, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.